Subtaker Spacebanner here with another episode of World of Tanks. And yeah, I know, I'm a bit sooner than you expected, right? I wasn't gonna post anything for a while, but here I am, again, posting another video. Let me assure you though, I haven't been playing tanks, and I'm not sure when I will, but I did want to make a follow-up video to the last one I made, because initially I was going to provide commentary with that video, but later I thought to myself, why commentate to something that says 1,000 words just by looking at it? I mean, you look at the video and you see what's happening, but I think it is needed. I need to kind of relay to you guys what I'm thinking, because none of this stuff gets covered on any of the other YouTube channels. I know Clone Guy used to talk about this extensively in the past, but lately I don't think he really focuses on things like this anymore. Maybe it doesn't bother him, or maybe he doesn't play a game as much as he used to. I'm not sure, but I know in the past he was one of the main drivers when it comes to issues in the game, trying to fix those, and I was right along with him when it came to that topic. But I guess I wanted to kind of make a follow-up video and discuss these things that I'm showing you guys. I know a lot of this seems like I'm salty and I'm whining and that kind of stuff, but in reality it affects the game to the point where it completely unbalances the entire environment. I think that's where I'm trying to kind of get to with this video. Basically, all of the issues that I'm showing you that are happening in the game, first of all, they shouldn't be happening. If the game was properly designed, we wouldn't be running into issues like that. But what it does is it contributes significantly to success of one team or the other. It creates imbalance in the game. And you know, over the years, we're always thinking, is it matchmaking being a problem? Is it something else being a problem? You know, why is it that we always see those lopsided wins and lopsided losses? This plays big part in it. Because, like, if you look at some of the clips that I've shown you guys, if I fire 4 shells or 5 shells into one tank and I cannot penetrate it, I just track it, for instance, you're basically taking one gun out of the game. So if it's a relatively good player firing those shells that don't pen, so you can imagine 4 or 5 shells being fired that should have been pens, potentially, that takes this good player out of the game and creates imbalance. And what I've noticed during my last run, because I went back into the replay system, I looked at some of the things that were happening. You could see that if one team has trouble penetrating tanks, or shots are hitting tracks, shots are going wherever, and the other team is actually able to hit their shots, right then and then, it creates imbalance in the battle, and one team starts winning significantly over the other team, and then it's hard to catch up. So, call it RNG or whatever. I mean, RNG plays a big factor in the game, for sure, and there's no way around it. But a lot of the issues that we see, or that I've seen in my last couple of sessions, were actually game-related issues. If those issues were fixed, the imbalance wouldn't be a problem. Even with RNG, imbalance wouldn't have been a problem. Issues in a game are the ones that create imbalance. So we can whine all we want about matchmaking, about RNG, about other factors that impact the game. In reality, the game has bugs, and until it's fixed, you're always gonna have team imbalance in a game. So unless you're one of those players that closes your eyes and says, okay, I don't care about what my team does, what the opposite team does, only whatever I do matters, and if I have a full-bar game, so be it, it's a full-bar game, we throw it out the window, we go to the next one. But I'm not one of those types of players. I actually like winning. You know, for me, doing 8,000 damage in a game is not the only thing I play for. I mean, I do enjoy it, don't get me wrong. It's nice to do 8,000 damage and say, whoa, I had a great game. But for me, enjoyment in this game is from winning, is from pulling the games off, especially in a situation when you're losing 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 5. You know, that's the enjoyment of the game. Being able to look at the battle and say, holy shit, we are losing by 5 tanks and we're able to pull it off. I mean, that's the enjoyment for me. And now when there are issues in a game that create imbalance and situations in which I am not able to do what I can do within a game, it pisses me off. As simple as that. And especially nowadays, since we have so many new players in the game, and if I roll into the game, I feel like I need to be the one driving. I need to be the one pushing the efforts, making sure I damage tanks at the beginning of the game so that we can hold off the opposing team, that we can stay in the game. And all of a sudden my shots are not hitting, they're missing, they're ghost shelling, or whatever it is that's happening. I already know that the game is going to be lost, because if 4 or 5 shots in a row are not hitting, they're missing, or they're ghost shelling, or fucking, you know, they go off by a 90-degree angle, or they just disappear, because that's what happens in many cases, I know there's no way we'll be able to win the game. It's not fun for me as a player. Because the stuff that we talked about 8, 9 years ago is still happening in a game today. That is the biggest problem. And that is the stuff that we tried to address many years ago. Through messages to Wargaming. Discussions with community contributors. I was a CC for a year and a bit, where we kind of covered some of these topics. And none of that shit got addressed. Even though they listened to us, none of that shit got addressed. Nobody treated it seriously. So if that stuff is not being treated seriously, what are we talking about here? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, why am I even talking right now? I don't know. I just want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. And you understand my frustration when it comes to years of playing this game and not being able to fix it. Because, let's be honest, the game is fantastic. People that started playing it and love the game, they still love it today. And they're hooked on it. It's hard to leave. Once you like this game, and the game is very much likable, because it's, like I said before, it's appealing to a lot of different age groups. It is hard to say goodbye. It draws you in somehow. Like, I always keep coming back to the game. Doesn't matter how long I stay away from it, I always find a way back. So even now, I'm not playing it. I'm not sure. I might not be playing it for a week, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe even months. I don't know. Maybe even more. But at some point, I know I'll be back to it. Eventually. Because I still enjoy it as a game itself. I just wish some of those things inside the game were actually taken seriously and fixed by Wargaming. So, yeah, anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Just my opinion, my 2 cents with respect to this. Because I don't see anybody else covering this. Like, I don't see anybody else talking about issues. And I think that should be talked about. I mean, if any of you are CCs or in some way connected with Wargaming, try it and see where you get with it. We couldn't get with it anywhere. So I don't think you'll be able to get with it nowadays either. But looking at the player base right now, it seems like nobody really gives a shit about it. It is what it is. It's in a game. And people just seem to accept it nowadays and just roll with it. It is what it is. I don't know. I mean, how can you accept shots going outside the reticle? I mean, that's completely unacceptable. Why are the shots going outside the reticle? You have a reticle for a reason. It is there for a reason. So why is it not used properly? Not only do the shots go outside the reticle, but once the bloom changes after firing the shot and your reticle becomes huge, right now the shots go outside the increased bloom. When the size changes after firing the shell, the shots go outside of that bloom, outside of that reticle. Like, what is that? Why is it in the game? And there's no way this is server lag, because I looked at my ping. I've seen this happening even with ping below 10 milliseconds. So you can't tell me it's ping related. It's definitely in a game. And it's there for a purpose. It's there for a reason. But I don't know what reason. So maybe average player doesn't care about this. or maybe new players don't know, you know, that like, oh well, maybe that's supposed to be like that. No, but it's not. Especially if you play the game for as many years as I do, that's completely unacceptable. I'm sorry. Fix the game. Fix the game, and then we can talk about why we have imbalance issues. Why is one team being completely overrun 14-0? A lot of these issues, a lot of those issues contribute majorly to the outcome of the game. Period. So until that is fixed, nothing else will ever get better. Anyway, I think we'll end it here. I will not apologize for the ramble, guys. I think Wargaming deserves it. And I think we have to speak out. And we cannot accept this shit the way it is anymore. That's it for now. Until next time. Space Button. Checking out.